Welcome to Unit 3, and in this unit, you'll learn everything you need to know for cellular energetics.
So let's first look at the free energy change. And let's see, we can use this delta G. This delta means the change, and this is the free energy. Okay. Now, it's very important that the free energy does not tell you the rate. Okay. It does not tell you how fast a reaction will happen. Okay. It is more about, is this reaction going to be spontaneous? Meaning, will it happen? Will it just happen? Maybe over a short time or a long time, but will this reaction happen or not? So if the free energy change is smaller than 0, okay, so here I can see the free energy change is smaller than 0, that the reactants have more energy than the products, meaning that that free energy was released, okay, and usually in the form of heat, but free energy was released, okay, and we call these type of reactions exergonic. Okay, these happen spontaneously, meaning it doesn't require energy input for it to happen. The other type of reactions is where the free energy change is greater than 0. Okay, so here we can see that the reactants have less energy than the product. So the products end up with more energy than the reactants, meaning that we required energy to do that. And this is Endergonic. Okay. Now, overall, the free energy change tells us about the start and the end energy levels. If the reactants have more energy than the products, this reaction will happen spontaneously. This is, for example, like taking glucose, which has more chemical bonds, it has more chemical energy, and releasing it as carbon dioxide and water, which has less energy. Okay. Now, because it releases that energy, it's exergonic, and this will happen spontaneously. On the other hand, now it's like taking the reactants, which could be like water and carbon dioxide over here, and changing it into glucose. So these reactants have less overall energy than the product. So it needed energy to reach that point, and that's why we call it endergonic. So overall, the delta G tells us, can this reaction happen? In exergonic reactions, this reaction can happen without energy input, whereas endergonic reactions, they are not spontaneous and they require energy input. Okay, so this requires energy inputs. Now, the overall purpose of photosynthesis. Okay, so overall, we want to move from disorder. Okay, so these molecules are disordered into more order. So here I can see this is a glucose molecule. Okay, now in order to do that, it's an endergonic process. Photosynthesis is endergonic. Okay, so I need free energy to go in. And we get that energy from light. Okay, we get that energy from light to kind of build these complex structures like glucose. Now, the whole idea here is that the energy from light is transformed. So this energy from light is transformed into chemical energy. And this chemical energy is what we find in the bonds, in the chemical bonds of these molecules, okay? And so it transforms it. It's very important to understand it transforms. It transforms the energy into chemical energy and then stores that energy as different organic matter. But energy is not created. We don't create the energy. The energy is just transformed from light energy to chemical energy. Now, respiration, on the other hand, respiration is exergonic. Okay, exergonic, meaning that we are not falling in energy levels. So we take these high energy chemical bonds that we've created and we slowly start breaking it down step by step to release those high energy electrons. And then therefore the energy is now released so that we can use that energy to create ATP energy for our cells. Therefore, we move from a high energy level to a lower energy level, and we end up with the same low energy products, carbon dioxide and water. But we've broken down these chemical bonds in steps to make ATP. And some of this energy is also lost as heat. Enzymes and ATP. Okay, for enzymes. Enzymes lower the activation energy, so this reaction will happen very slowly. And this reaction will happen very fast because enzymes lower the activation energy, but it does not change the overall free energy. The reactants and the products end up with the same amount of free energy, okay? But when we're talking about ATP coupling, okay, this negative free change of energy of ATP hydrolysis offsets the positive free energy of an endergonic reaction. So here is the reactants, here is the product, okay? To get there, I am moving uphill, so it will be greater than 0, meaning it is endergonic, not favorable, will not happen. But now, if I couple it with ATP, what happens is that it becomes a net negative reaction. Okay, I still end up with the products that I want, okay? But what is important to know is that this activation energy required does not change. Because what I'm essentially doing is I'm taking the reactants, I'm phosphorylating it with ATP, and that moves it into a higher energy state. But this activation energy, the energy required as input, that stays the same. It's enzymes that change the activation energy. If you like that lesson, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.